Hello and welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. In this one, I want to talk about tyrants, bigots, politicians, in general, evil people. I want to talk about these people, yes, and why they should be forced into a boxing ring. They should be forced to undergo some pain. Because these politicians, because they haven't gone through a lot of pain in their personal life, they inflict a lot of pain on others, yes? They play with other people's lives. So one person that comes to mind is Boris Johnson. And this guy, he is an evil man. He really is an evil man. And he needs to go to prison. This guy needs to be locked up for at least 25 years, something like this, 25 minimum, because he has just destroyed the Ukrainian nation. Because and Zelenskyy as well, of course, Zelenskyy into prison as well, 25 years, because these politicians they initiate all of these wars. They don't engage in diplomacy. They're just obsessed about their own ambitious aims, and it's just evil. It's evil, and now they themselves have to undergo some pain. Yes, they need to be forced into a boxing ring. They need to be forced to undergo some pain to put some sense into their bloody brains. Yes, these frauds, these evil bastards. And after that, they should be put into prison, locked up, 25 years. It's just look what has happened to Ukraine. Look how many people have lost their lives because of this war. In 2021, in 2022, I don't know exactly when, but there were these negotiations. Yes, Zelenskyy was about to sign a peace agreement, I believe, with Russia. Yes. And there could have been peace in Ukraine, yes. Ukraine could have become a bridge between East and West. And much pain, much evil could have been avoided. But Boris Johnson appeared. And like the English like to do, they like to stir up things, cause chaos for their own Western imperialist aims. It caused chaos in order to ultimately weaken Russia, and now we can see the results. Yes, we can see the results. So this is my idea. Well, not my idea, but this is what I think we should be done. These bigots, these tyrants, they should be forced into a boxing ring, and a lot of politicians before people want to become politicians, they need to earn all the money that they have by themselves. Yes, they should learn the process of earning money via their own means. So this is why I included this quote by Vitali Klitschko at the end. And this is what he said. He's earned all his money himself with his fists. He didn't steal it like the rest of our politicians. And he'll be less tempted to steal if he gets in the chair. And anyone who desires to become a politician, they have to fulfill certain criteria, yes? They have to show evidence that they are moral, show evidence that they are ethical, show evidence that they are intelligent, show evidence that they're not bloody psychopaths, narcissists, show evidence that they have been able to make money via their own means, so they haven't stolen money, yes, basically. Because if they fulfill all of these criteria, then if they get into power, we can trust them not to be bloody psychopathic, yes, and cause chaos everywhere. People like Boris Johnson, they haven't fulfilled this criteria. Boris Johnson is an immoral, evil man, and he needs to be locked up. He needs to be put into prison, and he needs to be forced into a boxing ring. And someone needs to put some sense into his brain. Yes, and it's not only Boris Johnson. There's others. I mean, I think Radosław Sikorski as well. I don't like him. I think he's dangerous. He's another one, warmonger. Constantly wants war with Russia. Someone needs to put some sense into his brain as well. I mean, there's many other politicians, obviously. Zelenskyy, I said already, he needs to be put in a prison, 25 years minimum. Evil man. And it's a joke. I mean, surely, eventually, all these evil people will be put to justice, you know. And yes, I'd like to go into my article now. Perhaps I'll unpack things further. And I like this quote by Caleb Plant, and this is what he said about boxing. So, boxing is an imitation of life. You get knocked down, you get back up. You don't quit no matter how dark it gets or whatever adversity passes your way. You just got to keep biting down and fighting, coming up the other side, and not quitting no matter what. So I guess this is not really related to my previous points, but in general, yes, pain plays a role in our lives. When we constantly undergo pain, and we have this shock to our system, it causes us to think, to actually think in more human terms, yes? Because when we undergo pain, we realise that we don't want to inflict unnecessary pain on others, yes? So this is why, for example, boxing is a great way to, in some way, overcome your fear, your trauma, your hate, perhaps. So, for instance, another case study comes to mind, and now I'll relate this to bigotry. Yes, so a lot of people they're racist for no apparent reason. This racism is based on ignorance. Yes, a lot of racism is based on ignorance, lack of intelligence, and a lack of experience with the other. Yes, and because of this, they project, they label others, they start to hate them. Start to put them into a box, yes, and it results in a lot of tension in society, etc. Yes, and it can spill over. It can, these processes can expand, and cause a lot of chaos in society and a civil war possibly. So I advise all people who perhaps have a hatred of the other, yes. Hatred of other people, other cultures, other ethnicities. They don't see the human in the other. To perhaps come into contact with these people. So, for instance, if you hate Muslims, actually go and speak to them. Yes, go and talk to them, understand their point of view. Yes, and if you still can't reach some agreement, enter a boxing ring, start fighting them. Yes, because this will unleash a lot of your kind of pent up energy. And it can lead to actually a positive outcome. It's kind of my thought process, what I think about these issues. I think there's some link here. And why is boxing great? Because obviously it's a game. Yes, there are some rules. You're not allowed to just bloody. You're not allowed to kill another person. Obviously, you have to play by the rules. Another added benefit, perhaps, is if you start boxing, for example, you improve your fitness, you improve the condition of your body. Possibly that further down the line, you could earn some money from boxing. Yes, you could become an amateur boxer, a professional boxer, influencer boxer. So a lot of these content creators, well, some of them. They engage in these influencer fights, yes. It is funny because it's a way of dispelling kind of unnecessary conflict, yes. And this is the glory of games, and games like boxing and how it's linked to capitalism. Yes, because it's another way perhaps of gaining prestige, influence, power, money by engaging in such activities. Yes, so I don't know if this has taken place yet, but I believe Mohammed Hijab and Paul Golding, I think they are planning a fight soon, or maybe they have already fought. I don't know exactly, but this is a good process. Yes, we've got a Muslim against an Englishman, and yeah, it's just an interesting cultural process to observe. Yes, so now I'd like to go into my article, because people might think, why am I talking about this? Well, because right now there's a lot of tension. Yes, there's a lot of tension between countries, between ethnicities, I think, in general. And if we are not careful, this can expand, and it can spill over into our society and economy. A civil war could arise. And then, obviously, we lose a lot of our freedoms, yes, and our cherished bourgeoisie lifestyle. And I'll be honest. You can call me a pussy or whatever, but I'm in favour of a bourgeoisie lifestyle. I'm in favour of a strong middle class. I think this is important. It's important to have a strong middle class, because a strong middle class is a bulwark against tyranny. Because once this middle class goes, it's over. We've got tyranny on our hands. So, and I'm sure we all don't want that. We're in this boat together, yes? So, I mean, this is an important issue. And this is why if you have a tendency to hate, to constantly hate and misunderstand a person from a different background, yes, I suggest 3 courses of action. And this is just my life experience, yes? Because I'll be honest, I had a lot of hate before. When maybe 10 years ago, I had a lot of hate in my heart. In general, I was just frustrated, angry, I had a lot of hate. And as I've grown older, I've noticed that I was in the wrong. I had a problem, yes? The problem wasn't other people, other cultures, other individuals. I was a problem, yes? And obviously now I'm 31 years old, so I've matured a lot. And I noticed what made a difference, yes? So one way is to actually engage in dialogue, dialectics, actually meet people from other backgrounds, from other ethnicities. So I've come into contact with people from all across the world. I've talked to Muslims, yes. I've talked to obviously English people, Irish people, Polish people, Russian. I've talked to Russians. Generally, yes, at work or whenever. Life, it's just a process of life. Yes, as the older you get, the more people you meet, you come into contact. Yes, with people from other backgrounds. So this has an effect, because naturally, when you meet these people, you start talking to them. You notice that you share a lot in common, yes? You share a lot in common. You realise that your worldview is quite similar. So, and this dispels your hate and your bigotry, yes? So that's one way. If you still have some differences, if there's, and this is what I wrote, if there are irreconcilable differences, then I suggest just fighting. Fighting, but fighting in a civilized way, in a cultured way, and boxing is one way to do this. Yes, there are other ways. For example, I don't know, MMA, kung fu, all these martial arts. That's another way. Yes, and yes. So, and the third way is engaging in debate, dialectics. So one way is just meeting people, talking to them in real life. The other way is actually debating, engaging in dialogue, dialectics. And the third way, if there are irreconcilable differences, you just have to fight them in the ring. Yes, that's I guess this is the final solution. And I think paradoxically, even when you fight, yes, in the ring, you'll notice that you have a shared humanity. After when you watch these boxing fights, after the fighters, the way they embrace, it's beautiful to watch. Yes, the way they embrace, the way they respect each other as humans. I like to look at this. I like to observe this process. So, I mean, one of my favorite fights in the past 10 years, 10 years was Golovkin Canelo. That was a great rivalry between them. They had a great rivalry. Personally, I preferred Golovkin. I think he's my favorite boxer in recent history. Gennady Golovkin. So he's from Kazakhstan. And he's a brilliant fighter. I like his fighting style. It's quite methodical. It's chess-like. He operates like he's playing chess, and the way he can take a lot of punches is unreal. It's wow. When I watch him, I was like, how does he do this? Like, all the pain he undergoes is crazy. Obviously, I have a tolerance for pain. I'm trying to, I'm trying to build this tolerance. I'm trying to increase my tolerance for pain. Obviously, it's not easy, yes. So, and Golovkin is a boxer who inspires me, definitely. So, in this sense, yes, at the gym, etc. So yes, then I wrote, there's some people you cannot win over. There are irreconcilable differences. So I guess the only solution is to fight, yes. Rules apply to both parties, and such a process, I think, would actually discharge a huge amount of, repressed energy, trauma, and, as I just mentioned, paradoxically, a newfound respect for your enemy, because your shared humanity will come to the fore. And this is why I think boxing is an amazing sport. And yes, so all these politicians who incite war, they are playing with people's lives. Don't they understand this? Don't they have empathy? Like, empathy, where's the empathy? Surely they have just some empathy, yes? They're playing with people's lives. This is not nice. It's not fair to do. You're not. Why are you doing this? What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? And this distorted worldview brings a lot of unnecessary chaos for the rest of us. I truly believe a lot of these wars can be averted. I mean, they really can be. It just requires some diplomacy, some actually real diplomacy, and just trust, and just no sneaky behaviour, yes? And again, I already talked about Radosław Sikorski, so he's the Minister of Foreign Affairs in Poland, and he's an extreme Russophobe, and he's dangerous in his rhetoric and his actions, because this constant Russophobia, constant, all the time. War, he's just constantly instigating war. We don't want war, because we don't know what could happen. It could escalate. We don't want war. How many times has Poland been the place where war has occurred? So many times. We don't want this anymore. We don't want more war. Don't you understand? Just empathy. Where's the empathy? Like, think. Start to think for once. Just frustrating. It's just frustrating to watch these processes, And that's why I guess in this video I've vented a lot. These are just my genuine emotions. I'm trying to think how to solve this, yes? And this is one way. So, again, I reiterate, Zelenskyy in prison, 25 years, Boris Johnson, prison, 25 years, and possibly Sikorski as well, 25 years, because if he does, yes, if his actions soon result in a war, then I think he has to go to prison for me, 25 years. And it will be the best course of action for all of us. I'm sure there's many other politicians, yes. But that's the end of the video. I don't have more to say. There's no point. I don't want to waste your time. That's all I wanted to say, really. And I mean, I've never boxed. I mean, I want to, but also I'm a bit scared. I won't lie. I'm a bit shook. I want to box, but I'm a bit shook. I'm a bit scared. I've had these drunk fights. So when I was in Liverpool, obviously, unfortunately, I drank a lot of alcohol. Not all the time, obviously. Bad periods. There were periods of time when I drank a lot. And when I was drunk, I ended up in some fights. Yes, I had some drunk fights. I couldn't really fight properly sometimes because I never learned how to fight. Yes, but I had these drunk fights. I had one fight once and I lost part of my ear. So you can see here, I lost part of my ear. It's partially reconstructed now. So I'm happy now. It looks better. I lost my ear. So Mike Tyson comes to mind. I think he was from Ireland. This guy was from Northern Ireland, and he just bit my ear off. Don't know why. I think we threw a couple of punches. He got me here, I think once. I got him as well, and then he bit my ear off for some reason. He gave me a bear hug, and then he bit some of my ear. But yeah, that's the end. I think I want to start boxing. Not properly. I don't want to become a professional or anything. But I'd like to train. So I plan to join a boxing gym here in Poland. I plan to train a bit, learn how to throw punches, and perhaps have a couple of amateur fights with a helmet. Yes, for now with a helmet. Obviously, I don't want to fight with my head exposed. Perhaps have maybe 1 or 2 amateur fights. Yes. That's my plan for the next 2-3 years, maybe. Hopefully, this gets realized. Obviously, it's easier to talk and plan than to actually execute action. But I'm trying to, achieve all of my aims. But anyway, that's the end of the video. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time here on the JJ Think Tank. Let me know if you agree with my solution, how we should deal with these politicians and these bigots and irrational, kind of unthoughtful racists. Because I understand, we all have a preference for our own people. That's true, but then it can spill over to racism. It's like this narrow-mindedness. Yes, so this is what I mean by bigotry, by racism. Yes, obviously every country has a right to assert its collective identity, and I agree with the conservatives. So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. It'll help me grow the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments if you want to comment. And yes, that's the end of the video. Thank you for listening. Take care.